All right, folks, you just got your home on the market. You got an offer. You're so excited it's under contract. And next thing you know, the people are like, I'm out. I don't even want to buy this property. Folks, there's a number of reasons why people are canceling properties and killing the deal. And there's ways that you can get around it. So I want you to think about the following items of how deals and how opportunities and how buyers are walking away from properties and how you can avoid it. Okay. Number one, I want you to think about that when you have a property, there's going to be sometimes inspection surprises. Folks, I had some different clients that I took through a property. They absolutely loved the property. We were able to negotiate the deal. As soon as we got back the inspection, folks, they were like, we're so out of here. This thing stinks so bad. And it wasn't even that bad. There were different things that I felt like really could be solved. But sometimes it doesn't make sense for a buyer to spend the bandwidth or the money to do different things that a seller could have easily have done. So when I talked to that agent, I just said, hey, here's some feedback. Just take it off the market and do this, 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 and this, so you don't have this issue. In their mind, they're like, well, do we need to reduce? It's like, dude, it wasn't a reduction or a price issue. It was a physical problem with the physical property, right? It didn't meet market criteria. So sometimes I will just tell you, when you get an inspection, when there's inspection surprises, it kind of takes this amazing gift. Sometimes when you have something that's presented to you and when you open up the box or you see it's not what you thought you were getting, sometimes we get just a little bit of remorse, right? We get a little bit like, that's not what I don't even want it. You know what I mean? And that's what buyers are doing in today's market. Number two was financing's falling through. Folks, easy to do. You just have to get a pre-approval letter. Make sure you call the lender. Understand if they've given you docs. Make sure they're still employed. That's a real thing. And then also you want to make sure that, hey, do they have the ability to close? Is there any other issues? Have a conversation. Sometimes we just get the documentation as opposed to doing the follow-up. That's one quick thing you can do. Third item, low appraisals. Folks, sometimes we do have different properties. Not as much now, but they're coming up. Sometimes you'll have a low appraisal. Folks, appraisers are great. But sometimes you need to challenge the appraisal. Sometimes you need to evaluate the property. And sometimes you need to introduce new opportunities or just get somebody new. I had a property, folks, that we did a complete renovation on. Appraisal came down $100,000. Agent came back and said, hey, we're down $100,000. We need to renegotiate this. And guess what I said? We're not negotiating anything because the value's there. And he said, I know, Mike, I know you are. Sorry, but we're going to go ahead and come in with the extra money. Why? The appraiser wasn't evaluating the square footage in the basement like the upstairs, which is how they should do it. But in the buyer's mind, it was worth a lot more than the comparable sales in the market. Overcome those problems by one, making sure you understand the property, making sure it's marketed correctly, and introducing new data and information or getting the right person in place to help see it through. Okay, so just know it's not a dead deal on a low appraisal, but you do have to do some work and work through it. If you have any questions, you can call me direct and I'll help you work through how we're overcoming that. Okay, next item that I made a note on. Okay, cold feet. It's a real thing, folks. Buyer's remorse, right? You have to make sure they understand that, is this a good deal? I've had different people that are saying, I don't know, we're thinking about an offer, I don't know. And I'm like thinking to myself, I want to make sure I have a motivated buyer. Only accept contracts from people that you know are truly motivated. If you know they're making offers on 5 different properties, I would maybe consider like evaluating that maybe a little bit different, right? But you want to make sure that buyers sometimes get panicked. They sometimes get spooked. They sometimes talk to the family. And so that's why I would just tell you, when you're marketing your property, make sure that you have the relevant information of why it's valuable. 2, have it prepared so when they have that inspection done, it just comes back so clean and so easy. They're like, dang, even though my mom and dad or my uncle or my brother from out of state that doesn't even know our market says it's not a good time or whatever, guess what? They know that they have a good property because they've been looking at 10, 15, 25 properties and they negotiated it well. It comes back super clean and you're very accommodating to help them get things done, okay? Last thing that I made a note here that I just want you to think about of how are deals falling apart in today's market is there's just too many contingencies. They're making an offer saying, well, I got to sell my home and I need 8 weeks to close. They're building in their offer all of these things that could go wrong, and that's why deals fall apart. So how do you do that? How do you overcome that? Well, you can negotiate some different terms. You can ask for some non-refundable earnest money, so it's helping them move towards it. You're not putting them in a cage, but it's just predetermined liquidated damages. So you're negotiating inside of it so you can help them get to the next steps. We had a very complicated relocation that we just did, representing the seller, working with another buyer that's doing another relocation. So it's, again, dominoes, right? Multiple people buying. And we were able to figure it out, but it was a matter of building through those addendums and contracts and information to help people get to the next step. When you're thinking about selling your home, know that there's going to be challenges that come up, but you can overcome them. How do you overcome them? Make sure you're properly preparing the property. Make sure you're presenting it in its highest light, making any types of repairs or inspections or pre-evaluations before it goes on the market. While it's on the market, making sure you're vetting the agents and understanding the buyers and reviewing their pre-approvals, understanding the dynamics of what that buyer has and if they have a number of contingencies and how you can help them overcome it. Because this business isn't about just marketing and selling. It's about overcoming the challenges and helping people get to the next step. Because that's the difference between the property closing and selling. I say the easy part is listing it. The hard part is closing it. Folks, if you need help, or you're thinking about selling your home, or your property never sold and you need help in saying, what should I do? Guess what? We resurrect broken deals all the time. Unfortunately, I wish they'd call us first, but sometimes it just happens. If you need any help, call us. Looking forward to assisting you. Take care.